What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today I'm super excited because we're gonna be doing a full face of drugstore makeup that is better than high-end. If y'all have watched me for a while, you know drugstore makeup has my heart, and honestly, over the past couple of years, drugstore makeup has elevated so much that there are so many drugstore products that are literally just as good, if not better, than high-end products. So I love to do these videos basically to show that you do not have to spend a ton of money to get a beautiful makeup look. You know what I mean? Like, there's great affordable makeup out there, so we don't need to be spending an arm and a leg. So today I'm just gonna do a full face with some of my absolute favorites from the drugstore that I personally think are better than high-end. And honestly, I have to say, it's pretty easy to come up with a full face of stuff. Hopefully you guys like this type of video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and click the little bell right next to the subscribe button so you're notified of all my future uploads. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Before we jump into makeup, I am partnering with CVS to show you some skin prep, because your makeup can only look as good as the canvas that you are applying it on. So you wanna make sure that your skin is prepped, hydrated, all the things. So two products that are always non-negotiables for me are moisturizer and SPF. So I'm gonna prep my skin with both of these. You can find them both at your local CVS. For moisturizer, I'm gonna use the Neutrogena Collagen Bank Moisturizer. This is really nice because they actually have a SPF one, like a moisturizer that has SPF in it, and then they also have one without SPF. But I love this. It's super hydrating to the skin. And if I skip moisturizer and try and put foundation on my skin, it's gonna be a crusty mess, let me tell you. So moisturizer is not something that I will ever skip. And then for SPF, we're kind of getting double benefits out of this. This is the e.l.f. Woah Glow. I love this because this is an SPF. It gives a beautiful glow to the skin, and it also can be used as a makeup primer. So you're protecting your skin and priming your skin for your makeup application. And even though it's getting colder out now, you still need to be protecting your skin daily with SPF. And these two together give such a hydrated, beautiful glow and base to apply your makeup on top of. And just because we're wearing SPF all the time does not mean we have to sacrifice if we want a little tan. Y'all know I love me a self tanner, and I use the Bondi sands. You can also get this at CVS as well. This is really, really good. And giving the gift of skincare is always a great idea. Comment down below who you would gift skincare to during this holiday season, and you guys can find all of those skincare products that I used and more at CVS, and they frequently have deals on them if you use your extra care card. All right, now that we have our skin all prepped, let's jump into makeup. So my favorite primer basically of all time is the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. This technically can be used in so many different ways. It's basically a glow product. So I mostly use this just as a primer on my skin, or also on no makeup days. Can pop this on if I want a little extra tint and glow to my skin after I'm done with my skincare routine. I use the medium one. You can also mix it into your foundation if you have, like, let's say a matte foundation and you want to amp it up, add a little bit of glow to it. You can also do that. But I have loved this for years. I have literally repurchased this. I don't even know how many times. Too many to count, but it is truly the best. I love it. And a product that I use multiple times per week at the very least. All right, now for foundation, I have two. Honestly, I couldn't pick between these two, but you cannot go wrong with either. I've talked about this one a bunch in prior videos that I've done on best drugstore products, but this is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. I absolutely love this. It is beautiful, but I also really like the L'Oreal True Matte. You truly cannot go wrong with either of these. I'm just gonna use True Matte today because it matches me a little bit better, but they are both absolutely fabulous. A medium to buildable coverage on both of them with a natural matte finish. So really should suit all skin types, which is incredible. The True Match has been around forever. It used to not have a pump. It has a pump now, which I love. Makes it a lot easier because it's such a good foundation, but a lot of times when it was used to be just like a bottle, I wouldn't reach for it as much because then you're pouring out more than you need and it's more messy. So love that they brought it with a pump now. Always a go-to drugstore foundation for me. It's fabulous. It gives a great coverage. Again, you can build it up if you want a full coverage, but I would say 1 to 2 pumps is mostly a medium coverage, which is normally what I do. And it comes in, I believe, 50 shades. So there should hopefully be a shade for everybody, which I love because historically, the drugstore lagged behind high-end when it came to shade ranges. But then, L'Oreal was like, well, hang on, we're gonna show you. So love that and hope that other brands follow suit as well. We have seen other brands follow suit, but obviously want all of them to. All right, looking good. Got that all blended. Now let's jump into concealer. I have been loving this. This is from Revlon. It's new-ish, I think. It came out within the past year. This is the Revlon Flexwear Full Cover. And it kind of has a moussey almost texture to it. It's an interesting texture, but it blends beautifully and gives a really great coverage, but is not drying to the under eyes. I feel like that's always the catch-22 when it comes to full coverage concealers. A lot of them are very drying. This one really is not, but it still does give that great coverage. So I like it a lot. I like a full coverage under eye. Can obviously also be used on the face to conceal blemishes, discoloration, anything that you want to add a little extra coverage to. And I think it works really, really well. I personally really like the e.l.f. Camo Concealer too, but I know that can be a little too drying for some people. So if you liked that, the coverage that it gave, but you thought it was a little too drying, you may really like this one and it may work a bit better for you. For blush, I love the e.l.f. Putty blushes. Their e.l.f. Camo blushes are really beautiful too, but the putties just have my heart. I mean, I love both of them for different reasons. So you can't go wrong with either, truly. This one is a little bit easier to blend because it's not as pigmented as the camo blushes are. The camo blushes are like insanely pigmented. This one is more of like a natural pigment, I would say, and it can be used for just like a light wash of color on the cheeks or built up for like a more vibrant color depending on what you want. So I personally really love these still. They've been out for a couple years now. The shade that I'm using is Turks and Caicos, and it's like a really pretty kind of corally pink shade. When it comes to drugstore powder, this has been a favorite of mine for years. I haven't found one that I like as much as this. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. They have the pressed powder. I love this loose one. It has a little bit of color to it, so it's not going to have like a white cast or anything on your skin. It's gonna set everything in place, but it's not gonna make you dry. And because it does have that color to it, it's not gonna give you a white cast, obviously, but it's also gonna amp up the coverage just a little bit and give you like a little bit extra coverage too, which never hurts. So I love this, and it feels really seamless on the skin and sets everything in place without making me dry. Alrighty, let's jump into the eyes and the brows now. When it comes to brow pencils, it's honestly hard to justify a lot of high-end ones because there are so many good ones from the drugstore. Today I'm gonna be using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I love this one. I also love the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer and the CoverGirl little micro brow pencil. They're all great. I'm using shade Ash Brown. It's basically like a tiny little precise brow pencil and then a spoolie on one side, but this is absolutely fabulous. I'm just gonna go in and give my brows like a little bit of a baseline and then just draw little flicks to fill them in. This comes in a bunch of different shades too, depending on your brow shade. But a newer product from the drugstore that I have been so impressed with, like it better than basically any high-end brow gel that I've tried. Like, it's so good. This is the L'Oreal Brow Lamination. Comes with a tiny little spoolie, and this goes in and coats every single little brow hair. That's why I love the tiny little spoolie. When brow gels have like a big spoolie, I'm like, my brows aren't like thick enough to really like have that. I need a tiny little one that's gonna get every little brow hair I have, because my brows, like, I have hair on them, but not a lot. So I need, you know, the help where I can get it. And this is so good and does not change the color or texture of them. Like, they are gonna stay like this. They're not gonna move. And it sets down, but it doesn't make them like crunchy or your brows look gray or anything like that. So I've been really impressed with this. This is newer and I love it. Alrighty, let's jump into eyeshadow now. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, honestly, on like a daily basis, I don't really wear eyeshadow very often. Like, I went to a wedding this past weekend and did like full out eyeshadow. And I was like, whoa, like I forgot like what this is like, you know? I skip eyeshadow a lot now just because I'm shorter on time, obviously. And it's something that's just easy for me to skip. But, you know, if I have a special event or something, I'm gonna wear some eyeshadow. So I really like these from CoverGirl. These are the CoverGirl Clean Color eyeshadow palettes. They come in a bunch of different colorways. The one that I'm using is Spiced Copper. You get 4 different shades in these and they are very pigmented, which is nice. So they definitely didn't skimp on pigment or anything like that. This is a matte shade and like perfect for the crease. And eyeshadow, I would say, is another category where the drugstore has come such a long way. Like when I was younger, not me like aging myself so much, but truly, like when I first really started to get into makeup, the drugstore had good products, but when it came to eyeshadow, they were really bad, honestly. Like, it was very hard to find a good drugstore eyeshadow. In like the past, I would say 10 years, they've really like gotten so much better. And now you can truly find like great pigmented and blendable shadows at affordable prices when we really could not before. Gonna go in with this deeper shade and just build up the crease a little bit. Oh my gosh, this warm toned eye look is like bringing me back. I love it. Gonna use both of the shimmers on the lid. I'm gonna use the darker one on the outer portion and then the lighter one here. So sparkly and beautiful. And then just gonna buff a little bit of these 2 matter shades on the lower lash line to blend everything together. So good. Okay, for mascara, if you have watched literally any of my videos, then you already know Milani Anti-Gravity. I love this stuff so much. It is honestly the best. Lengthens the lashes, separates the lashes, gives them volume, like really just does it all. I love this stuff so very much. Highly recommend trying it. So many of you guys have DM'd me and like messaged me and told me that you tried this and you really loved it too, which makes me so happy. So we can all have beautiful lashes together. For liner, I love the NYX Epic Wear liners. They come in a bunch of different shades. Today, I'm just using the white one. I feel like doing a little white under eye to make my eye like really pop, but I love these. They don't budge, even if you have like watery eyes like myself, and they're very pigmented. Love a good little white liner. Been a while since I did that. For bronzer, the NYX Buttermelt bronzers. I love these. When these first came out, they were like sold out everywhere. They were so hard to find. Now they're like more stocked, and honestly, they were sold out everywhere for good reason. They are so good. And what I like about these is you can use them as both a bronzer and a contour. There's quite a few different shades. The shade that I am using is Butter Biscuit, which is more warm tone, so it's a little bit more of like a bronzer for me, but it gives that natural kind of sun-kissed beachy look because it has that kind of warmer undertone. So it just looks like you spent the day at the beach, even though we have our SPF on. So I absolutely love these. They blend really nicely. They are more of like a matte, like they're not gonna add shimmer or anything to your face, but they're not like dry and cakey. The finish is just really nice, and they're beautiful, very pigmented as well, so you only need a very little bit of them. For blushes, honestly, you cannot beat these Milani. They're baked blushes. These have been around forever, like from when I first started getting into makeup. This is the shade Dulce Pink, which is like a pretty true pink little shimmery shade. I love these. Again, they come in a bunch of different shades. Luminoso is another favorite of mine that's more like corally. This is more of a true pink. But they're baked blushes, so they have a little bit of like a glowy sheen that they give, but it's nothing like glitter or disco ball or anything like that. Like just gonna give a pretty little sheen to your cheeks with some color too. I have always loved these. They're like one of Milani's best products, besides the mascara, obviously. For blush, another favorite of mine since forever, this is the Wet n Wild Blushlighter Duos. Love these. Super affordable. Like most times they're like under $6 or $7. You get 2 highlights. I'm gonna just mix both, and they are super pigmented and beautiful. And what I like about Wet n Wild's highlights is they're very pigmented and glowy, but they really don't emphasize texture. Like some highlights have a lot of like glitter in them, and I feel like then it really emphasizes like texture on skin, which I certainly have texture, especially right in the area that I highlight, like the top of the cheekbones, where these ones just like glide over it, which I love. And a lot of times the little trick that I do is I'll go in with a little extra highlight and apply right to my inner corners and right beneath the brow bone, just to really emphasize that area. Even on days when I am not wearing any eyeshadow at all, I will do that just to add a little glow in those extra areas. Okay, for liners, I really have been loving the Maybelline Lifter liners. I've loved the Maybelline Lifter glosses literally forever. That's my lip gloss pick, not to spoil it and say it already, but the Maybelline Lifter liners are really good. This one is in the shade On It. I need to sharpen mine, but I think I have enough to line the lips. They are super pigmented, blendable, and creamy, and they last really well. So honestly, all that I can ask for. They have a bunch of different shades, obviously, but I like this shade. It's kind of like a muted brown and can work with nude lips, pink lips, even more like berry tone colors. So you can use this as a very versatile liner. And then for lipsticks, I love these Milani matte lipsticks, the ones with like the studded packaging. Again, you can't go wrong with any color, but my personal favorite is Pleasure. So I'm gonna go in with this. These are a matte finish, but they are not drying. So you're gonna get that pigment and the lastability of a matte lipstick. Lastability, is that a word? I don't think so. The longevity of a matte lipstick, but it's not going to dry your lips out. So I really like these. And then of course, if you want a glowy glossy finish, you can go in with a lip gloss on top, but your lipstick will be there to stay. Where when I use like more like glowy lipsticks, you know, they're just never gonna have the same amount of like lasting power as a more matte lipstick would have. So love those. And then for gloss, I already told you, but the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, this one is in the shade Moon. This is one of their like OG shades of this. They've come out with a bunch of new shades, but I still go back to this one all the time. Really good dupe for the Fenty lip glosses. And just give a beautiful glossy glow, but are also like quite hydrating feeling to the lips, which I like. They're not sticky at all, so love that. And then last but not least, setting spray. I really like this newer one from e.l.f. This is the Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray, so I'm just gonna shake mine on up and then spritz on the face. Super light mister, which I love. Feels really nice and refreshing. And it's just gonna set everything in place and make your makeup last. It's not gonna feel like hairspray or anything on your face. If anything, it actually feels quite hydrating. So yeah, that is the completed look, you guys. Honestly, like I love this look, and everything that we used is drugstore and affordable. I will link all the products that we used today down below in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.